You're listening to the Light Novel Podcast. Visit us online at lightnovelpodcast.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Light Novel Podcast. Tonight, we are going to be going over I believe there's 15 light novel licenses that came out of Anime Expo just this past weekend. We're going to go through all the titles, talk a little bit about them, and that's really, so it's a big news episode. We're not going to cover any other little news tidbits. We'll worry about that on another day. In any case, tonight I have with me Flyz.
I hope you all survive the earthquakes.
I have Biogundam.
Yo.
I have Jean-Luc.
I survived the earthquake.
Nice. I have Kyle. Hola! Kyle, where are you, buddy?
Did Kyle die?
I don't know.
The earthquake's got him.
Oh. He went like totally MIA.
On to the next
All
person.
Right. Okay. Yep. I have Mirage.
Good morning.
And at some point we might have Kyle.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now.
He survived.
Yeah.
He came back.
All right, Kyle's on board, I think. We'll see if it holds. All right,
yeah,
cool.
I have
there
no
we
idea
go.
what happened. Hello.
All right. So tonight, as I said, we're going to cover all of the stuff that came out of Anime Expo. We're going to do sort of the smaller group of licenses first. So I guess that means we'll basically do Soul Press, then do 7Cs, then Yen Press, and end with Yen On. Yeah. So, J Novel Club. Wow. Apparently, I'm already losing my mind here. Okay, so Soul Press. Soul Press kind of did something a little interesting. They licensed one light novel, and it is called Busy Wizard. This warlock just wants to provide for his wives. Who wants to say the Japanese title?
I can do that. Yami Zoguzei no Mahutsukai daga nazeka yusha ni natte shimatta.
Okay, there we go. The author is Shihotate Samagura. That sounds like it's a... Do we think that's a pen name? I don't know. Anyway, this one is a hentai title. Yeah, that's right. It's honestly, I think, our very first legitimately tagged genre hentai light novel being licensed in English. If you can use magic, then you will become popular. Chris, who has been deceived by those words, continued to practice dark magic in the mountains. He ended his days of training and helped a beautiful slave girl that was attacked in the middle of his journey to the city. That girl, Olivia, has a curse which is cursed with bad feeling when pointed at favor, and was banished from her household because of it. Chris, who had fallen for Olivia at first sight, asked her to marry him. He experienced his first night with Olivia, who accepted the offer, and in addition to rising up, he had the purpose of making my bride happy. Chris, who visited the temple to unravel the curse of Olivia, is suddenly recognized as a hero by the oracle of the goddess of law. Because of that, Chris's life changed completely, and suddenly he gets a mansion. One day, he was asked by Diane's son, a millionaire who was good friends with Olivia, ...
Something's rising.
Hey, do you want to have a threesome?
Hero.
I can see where this is going. Okay, so...
Well, it's an hentai series. Of course it's going there.
Yeah, of course it's going there. Diane's son. Well, anyway. So, yeah. I just don't even know what to say about this without, getting in trouble.
I know what I've got to say. I've got to learn fucking magic quick.
Well, the first thing that I thought was kind of interesting is they're all North Americanized names like Chris, Olivia, Diane.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that, like,
now that you mentioned,
I was kind of curious if that is like from the actual novel. I think, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. The publisher, the Japanese publisher is Paradigm. If you look them up, don't do it at work. I'm just saying, because I guess that's their market is they do R18 light novels. So
It is literally a porn novel, so
yeah, well, yeah, it is. So yeah, so that's what it is.
you're gonna have a good time, but probably don't do it in front of your boss.
Yeah, do it on your own time, alone, with the door shut. So I think, do we know how many volumes this one has in Japan? I don't see.
I couldn't find any info on it.
9. It says there are 9 volumes in Japan,
Damn.
according to Mirage's. By the way, everyone, Mirage has put together this incredible spreadsheet for us. I'm just going to say, but yeah. So yeah, it is an ongoing series and currently appears to have 9 volumes. Wow, that's a lot of magical pornography going on there.
I actually might pick it up because that threesome sounds spicy.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, a threesome in the first volume, I mean, that's pretty spicy.
Yeah. Well, they aren't playing around. Well, they got to make sure that, what do you think? They add a girl per volume?
Well, I know there's one series where this guy like fucks an angel and then fucks another angel and then gets sucked off by like a male demon that looks like that's a trap that can turn into a female.
Okay, wow. This is not the R18 light novel podcast.
You read some strange literature, I'll tell you that.
Um,
I get bored. I need amusement.
Okay.
The more hardcore, the better.
So yeah. Anyway, that yeah. So I don't know. You know what? Part of me, regardless of whether I would read it or not, I kind of thought I was like, Soul Press. It's a niche that's not really being served by any of the other light novel publishers. I mean, it doesn't seem like, especially if they do it just digitally, I don't think it doesn't strike me as being too risky a thing to do. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But that was all that they announced. I mean, Soul Press does visual novels and stuff like that. They announced a number of visual novels and stuff. So it wasn't like that they came to Axe and announced one thing, but that was all that they did for light novels. And actually what was really interesting, and I'll just throw this out there, was that their panel was like 10 o'clock at night or whatever in LA, and so it was like 1 a.m. or so in my time. So I wimped out and went to bed. And so when I woke up in the morning, I was looking at like, Anime News Network and places like that. Just anybody who might have covered like what they announced. Nobody mentioned this light novel. I actually had to hear it from one of the guys who works at Soul Press. He was like, yeah, we did license a light novel. I'm like, well, that's funny because none of the news coverage said anything about it. That's kind of funny. So.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when
Very
General
suspect.
Club announced J.K. Alu, like, people were scared to utter the name. Like, it's...
Well,
Fucking pussies.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know
I
why
mean-
the panel was after 10 p.m.
well,
I mean, a company goes out and license an anti-light novel. Well, talk about it. Like,
well, I think.
if you're not interested, don't pick it up. But I mean,
Well, I
a
don't.
news is a news.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any. I don't know. I don't know if that there was any kind of concerted effort by anybody to not cover it. I just mean it was just like I think what happened. I honestly think what happened was because they licensed a bunch of other stuff that they just kind of glossed over the one light novel announcement. I don't know, because they announced a couple of manga and stuff like that. I just, whatever reason. I mean, I don't know, but it was kind of. I just thought it was kind of interesting. So, Oh, it looks like Terrence has joined us. Terrence, are you there?
He's still
Terrence,
setting
are you
up.
there? He's still setting up.
I'm
Okay.
I'm kind of here. Can you
Oh,
hear
okay.
me?
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
I
With-
can you use Craig because I'm on my phone. Is that okay?
Yeah. Craig's on there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So Terrence has joined us.
Still at the first novel.
Yeah, we've just been talking about the pornography novel that was announced.
Oh,
So-
okay. Soul Press.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
How do you know?
everybody who's in the know knows. You're just like, yeah, the hentai light novel that was announced at Axe, and everybody's like, oh yeah, Soul Press.
All I know is it's got busy in the title and it's an H novel, and I'll try it out. But yeah, I know nothing else besides that. Brand
Well,
new
yeah.
license.
Busy wizard. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
getting busy, all right.
Yeah, he's busy at night.
Especially if they're going to add a girl of volume. That'll be 10 chicks by the time they're at volume 9. Anyway, okay. So let's move on. We've kind of flogged that one, I think. So we'll move on to Seven Seas. Seven Seas, really, they only announced 2 titles. The first one, I'll talk about the first one that's actually a tie-in to an existing property is the Bloom Into You regarding Psyche? Is that Psyche?
Saeki.
Psyche?
Psyche,
Psyche.
Psyche.
That's the
Psyche
name.
Sayaka. So this one is a spin-off, basically. So Yu Koito has always been entranced with romantic shoujo manga and the lyrics of love songs. She patiently waits for the wings of love to sprout and send her heart aflutter on the day that she finally receives a confession. Yet, when her classmate from junior high declares his love for her during their graduation, she feels unexpectedly hollow. The realization hits her. She understands romance as a concept, but she is incapable of experiencing the feeling firsthand. Now, having enrolled in high school, Yu, disconcerted and dispirited, is still ruminating over how to respond to her suitor. There, she happens upon the seemingly flawless student council president, Toko Nanami, maturely rejecting a confession of her own. Stirred by Toko's elegant manner, Yu approaches her for advice, only to be bewildered when the president confesses to her. Yu quickly finds herself in the palm of Toka's hand, and unknowingly sets herself on a path to find the emotion which has long eluded her. Now that's for the Bloom Into You, but this is actually like a side character of that series, is it not?
Yes, it's for
I
another
actually
girl
don't
in
know.
the student
That's-
council who's like childhood friends with Toko.
Yeah, so this one follows a side character from Bloom Into You. And this, as far as I know, there's 2 volumes in Japan right now. It's still ongoing as far as I know. So now, my guess is that if you're not familiar with the Bloom Into You manga, you might be kind of lost in this light novel. I don't know, though.
Yeah, like is this side character, are they being developed specifically for this light novel? Are they an established character in the other series? You know, like will this be brand new content and like a storyline you'll want to follow if you don't follow Bloom Into You? Or
It
yeah.
kind of spoils. I'm assuming it's gonna spoil stuff because she's a main character in
Okay.
the original
So
series.
so you'll probably want to either read or watch Bloom Into You before you start this up.
Which is the perfect
Right.
time because the manga is almost over and it's not that long, and it's good.
Well, there you go.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, see, it solves itself.
Yeah,
So-
and Bloom Into
Yeah.
You, the manga, is also published by Seven Seas as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So one of the other things to note with this one, I believe the author is the same as they've done some other Yuri titles, and there's another one people want, Adachi times Shimamura. So I'm hoping this is maybe a first step to get more of their titles, and maybe more like titles that are like their own series instead of just a spin-off. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can talk. I'll talk about the other title that they licensed, and then we can sort of talk generally because, the other one that they announced was, now this one isn't technically a light novel. It's actually a novel, a Japanese novel, and it is called At Night I Become a Monster. Now it's by Yoro Sumino, who is the author of I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which of course made a really big splash. That was what, last year that we got like the manga, the light novel, the movie, like everything all came out all at the same time, wasn't it?
Yeah, around the same time.
Mm-hmm. So again, this is kind of like a known commodity Japanese author, another of their titles being licensed. It is At Night I Become a Monster. Whether I'm in bed, sitting or standing, when the night arrives, I suddenly turn into a monster. One night, I sneaked into the school as a monster to get back something I'd forgotten there. I thought no one would be in the classroom that late at night, but I was wrong, as for whatever reason, my classmate Yano Satsuki was there. So, what do you think? Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, I kind of have that vibes.
I like the idea of like some dude turning into a giant monster and not able to control it. It sounds awesome.
Like the cover is actually really cool, and I mean the cover makes him look like he's, if that's to scale of what the book says, like he's big. Like it's not like, oh, I grow fur or anything. Like he turns into this legitimate, like 3 times the size of a normal human being monster. Like, yeah,
Is he dynamic or is he like? What does he look like?
I'd have to find the cover.
Let me send it to you.
Yeah, send me the picture.
It has like the girl on the cover standing in front of him, and like he looks like he's about double her size.
Oh shit, that's very like this kind of is very kind of Lovecraftian or
Yeah. It's an interesting like the title and the description, and then combine it with that cover image. It does give me this idea that maybe there's a bit of a gothicness to it, like a little bit of like you said, Lovecraftian. Maybe.
Gothic. That's what. Yeah, gothic is. I think gothic's the word I'm thinking of. Like very gothic. It's very sort of like, it reminds me of like World of Darkness. Like it's just like he's just this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like now I as far as I know, it's only the single novel. Because I mean that's what this author, as far as I know, does. I am not sure if it is going to be a tear-jerking, crush your heart like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas was. I don't know. We don't know a lot about this one, but yeah.
I mean, I might actually grab it because it looks interesting. Like especially the cover. Like it's just this girl staring into the abyss, into there's the multiple eyes of this thing that she doesn't know what it is.
Well, yeah, and I mean the question then becomes like, is she actually going to be afraid of it, or is there something with her that maybe I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of cool. I'm actually looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I kind of like that we don't.
Or maybe
know.
she's a monster as well.
I kind of like that we don't.
Yeah, but during the day.
I kind of like that we don't know too much about it, because I felt with like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, everybody was like, oh, it's so sad. Oh, it's a tragedy beforehand. And I kind of like to read through a book and not know what the setup is going into it. So I don't know what this one's about.
Yeah.
Well, all you know is that they're meeting.
Well, I mean,
Pancreas, this girl just sees this fucking God knows what monster.
That is a tragedy within the
I
first
know.
page.
Well, yeah.
In the synopsis.
Okay, so it's not a huge spoiler to know that.
Yeah.
You already
No,
know.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
but nonetheless, I mean, you're right. Like, even if you hadn't read the first line of the book, you still knew basically the idea of what it was, like, because there was so much out there. Because there was the movie, the manga, the light novel. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of neat that this is something we don't know a ton about. The only thing about Seven Seas, and like I kind of felt meh after their announcements, and part of it is probably because last year they came out with, I mean, Classroom of the Elite, Mushoku Tensei, like, these big A-list titles. And it's not that I don't think this one, At Night I Become a Monster, doesn't sound good. I think it sounds really cool. And even Bloom Into You, I mean, it's a big series. And it's kind of neat that we're starting to get other companies, like Viz has sometimes done some of the tie-in light novels to some of their manga properties, but it's kind of cool to see another company doing it. But I think the thing that that kind of left me feeling a little cold on Seven Seas was that it didn't feel like any of these were picked up for light novel fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it felt like, oh, we picked up Bloom Into You because it's a really popular anime and manga. And we picked up this, At Night I Become a Monster because I Want to Eat Your Pancreas did really well for you, and it's for us sales-wise, and it's the same author.
Yeah,
Like
so again, with the Bloom Into You, I'm just hoping we get more from that author because they do have some original light novel works. But besides that, I kind of agree that it does feel very much like these are titles not specifically for the light novel audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say even like, I think it's somewhat the breadth of the titles too. We've only got 2 titles. Like if we got even 1 or 2 more, like I think there's a few titles they announced throughout the year that maybe if they had saved, those would have been big deals at the conference.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I'm not as hot on this particular lineup. I wish there were a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I think afterwards I was kind of like, because as I thought about it later on, I was like, well, it's not that there's anything wrong with these titles. It's just, it doesn't feel like they were like, oh man, light novel guys are going to love this. You know what I mean? And I guess maybe I shouldn't be that egotistical, but
yeah. And with like manga, like a manga spinoff that's made in LN, I don't know. Like I almost kind of read it off. I'm like, oh, this is like, a non-canon side story. Is it like this major storyline, or is it just, oh, it's just some side stories they didn't develop? Like, I don't know, obviously, with the Bloom Into You.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ends up being like something major, like something that's worth it on its own. But I guess we'll see.
When you're talking like that kind of series, like actually Vertical put out the Seraph of the End light novels. Kuranichi no Se Catastrophe at 16, and now they're going to be starting the sequel series to that. And those ones actually were written by the author of the manga. So they were like 100% canon. And I know for the initial series, Catastrophe at 16, he was, even the artist of the manga did the interior artwork for the light novels. So it was very much like canon, right? Which was cool. And I mean, it was all prequel stuff and basically showed you how the world got to where the manga starts. So I know what you mean. Like when you're like, oh, it's going to give me all sorts of reveals about the story and everything else, you're into it. And then if you're like, well, if it's just kind of like, we want to make the mad cash, so here's a side story.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to like change something major about like the main characters, but if the side character is like well developed and it's like a whole story for them, and I don't know what it ends up being about, but if it like does like this brand new thing with them, like some relationship development, like that would be cool. But we'll see what it is.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. All right, so next we will move on to Yen On. They had a couple of stuff announced. The first title that we will talk about is I'm a Behemoth, an S-ranked monster, but mistaken for a cat. I don't have the rest of the title available because
I live as an elf girl's pet.
I live as an elf girl's pet. Holy jumping. Who wants to read the Japanese for this one?
I can do it again.
S-rank monster no behemoth daiko do neko no machiga warete elf musume no pet tose te kurashi midmasu mas.
Kurashitemasu.
Reading it like a real gaijin note file.
Yeah, mas is masu. Like when you see masu, it's mas. So it's kurashitimasu.
Yeah, I would have said masu.
Kurashitemasu.
Kurashitemasu. Okay, well. I have always said
My
that.
Japanese is not that great, but I'm learning.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Well, hey,
The
buddy.
slow burn.
It's all good, dude. I have nothing to compare. The elf girl.
Well, someone needs to learn because someone in this podcast needs to learn Japanese. Because what happens if we have an author from Japan speaking? Someone's going to need to run translate.
Well, it'll be all good.
Yeah, I speak a bit Japanese, but not enough to actually interview a Japanese author.
Well, that's the dream. But first, I need to learn how to read.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's something that's probably quite easy for Germans because the pronunciation is similar.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, same thing for French.
Us the English speakers get the short end of the stick. All right, so this one, the elf girl Aria is an adventurer. Her enchanting, lovely features attract everyone. Her twin peaks are ripened to the point of exploding. What the hell is this book?
Is this another porn volume?
No,
not
okay.
at all.
Then, being embraced in between those twin peaks was a little animal. His name is Tama. He looks like a cat at first glance, but Arya and her surrounding companions failed to take notice of a single detail. Tama, he's a human who's reincarnated, been given a second chance at life. His true form, it's not that of an ordinary cat. Instead, he's a monster of the strongest class, an extremely young behemoth.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, this reminds me of like the cat demon from Inuyasha that like looks like a cat and then it turns into like a giant fucking monster and rips people apart.
What it reminds me of is Woof Woof Story.
oh yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's totally
Yeah.
a woof woof.
Since I started reading that one, I'm probably not going to pick up this one.
Well, I'm gonna pick this one up because
Her twin peaks are ripened?
That's one of
like
the
a while
reasons why
ago,
won't pick
I
it
did
up.
read.
Like how ripe are we talking here?
I don't know, man, but like, really?
Well, it's like in the manga, it's big, but it's.
It looks like she's doing the bubble tea challenge, but with a cat on the cover.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
But the thing is, the interesting part is when he was alive, like it's not an isekai. Like when he was alive, he was a knight, and now that he's been reincarnated, like he searched for an owner to protect. So it's
so
seems a bit similar to Woof
so
Woof Story.
but hold on. So what are you saying? Like he was actually in this world, and then he was
exactly.
okay. So it's not like an actual isekai, like he's from our world.
No.
He was actually a knight in the world that he's reincarnated into. Oh, okay. So that's a little different take. I mean, obviously, it doesn't make it 100% original, but at least it's not just another one of those. I was reborn into a blah blah. It's not exactly Woof Woof Story. Plus, like Woof Woof Story, I mean, he doesn't.
It's a dog, not a cat.
Well, there's that, but Woof Woof Story also, he doesn't change forms. Like he is just a big ass dog, right?
Yeah.
well, this one has-
in this one?
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Or is it just an extremely powerful small kitty cat?
No, he changes forms.
Well, I only read like 5 chapters or so, but like in the beginning, like the elf, she finds him at the entrance of the dungeon, like, but before getting out of the dungeon, like he fought like super powerful monsters in there, and he's just exhausted. So she thinks he's a cat who's wounded, so she picks him up and nurse him back to health. And he kind of want to protect her because he used to be a knight and he searched for a master to protect. And eventually he has to protect her by using magic. And then everyone thinks, oh, it's an elemental cat. So
It's an elemental
dude, wake up.
Oh my God! Come on. Okay,
It's a magic cat.
It's a magic. I'm
at least going to pick it up and read the first one. Like,
Well, it's only
Yeah,
seems
so we've got
interesting enough.
we've got Woof Woof Story for dog fans, and we've got this series for cat fans.
Well, there you go.
You see, everyone wins.
everybody
other-
wins.
Small thing with this one, it's by the same author as I chose to leave because I was threatened to exile the party unless I became a sex slave to the female brave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you remember that one, that was
No.
the one with the Twitter spat between the
Yeah.
author and the illustrator. So this is the
Seriously?
same author. Mhm.
And this is a brand new series because this one just came out in March. So is this how they're
Oh,
paying?
this guy's come back.
So this is how he's paying the bills.
I think
Wait,
the
is
first
it the
one was
same
released in
illustrator?
March
I
2000.
don't
I
know.
doubt
It's not the same illustrator. Yeah.
No,
No,
it wouldn't be. That would be too much. Oh my god,
Oh my god, he came back.
that's funny. Wow.
Yeah, maybe because there was the issue with his last illustrator was because the last one didn't know how to draw Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Well, that's wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the whole thing was like the Eshi, like, oh wow. So this one might actually be a little more Eshi-ish than like Wolf Wolf
We
Story
shall
is
see.
is. Wolf Wolf Story is a little bit more tame, I would say. Like probably because his master
Wolf
is a
Story
little
sounds
girl.
very more like it sounds a lot more wholesome.
Yes.
Yes.
This one, like the second they start talking Twin
It
Peaks,
has
I'm like, oh my god.
very little edgy in that one.
Yes,
I've read
yeah.
Volume 1 so far. I
Like
picked
Wolf
up
Wolf
Volume
Story
2.
sounds like a dog barking. It's like woof woof. Oh, it's a doggy.
Yeah.
It's barking. Hello, little doggy.
Yeah, and
Like it
he's
sounds
ve-
wholesome. Very
He's
wholesome.
less interested in the Twin Peaks of his mistress and more like napping and
Yeah,
Well,
having-
he's also a dog.
that's true.
yeah.
If he was interested, that'd be bestiality.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
weird
and
book.
she's a cat.
Let's not go
the other one is
there.
a cat, so same difference.
Whatever. It's all good. Okay, so let's move on. But that is very interesting, Terrence. I did not realize that was who the author was. That is, yeah, that's interesting.
Let's see what happens. Let's hope that he doesn't annoy this illustrator next.
Yeah, right. Seriously, I wonder if that was a clause that Yen-On put in when they licensed this. They were like, if he pisses off the illustrator and this gets canceled, we get our money back.
Well, I'm wondering if they licensed it before that, and then it's like, well, we've already licensed it and put in work. We'll just go forward with it.
Wow, I don't know.
You
but that's
never
kinda
know.
Funny. Wow. And then Yen-On announced Interspecies Reviewers Ecstasy Days. This is a fantasy eshi. I'm sure none of you are surprised to hear that. In a world where myriad races live side by side, it's only natural that shops serving a great variety of tastes can be found. It's here that the adventurer Stunk and his troublemaker friends review everything that the exotic red light districts have to offer, where the only questions are who is the best and where do they go next. Whether it's enjoying the poison play with a basilisk in glasses or NTR play with a selkie, there's nothing to do but dive into these ecstasy days. Wow.
You see, this
Well-
is a novel for men of culture.
It sounds more like a porn novel than the Wizard one.
Yeah,
It's
You know
true,
what
it does.
but
And interestingly,
You know what I just found
Interesting,
out
yeah,
but this
by looking
this
this?
one is going to have an anime.
Yes,
That's
yes, it
exactly
is.
what I was just about to say. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh hell yeah!
So it's
yeah, but thing is, like from the premise, this one seems more interesting than the other one.
Depends on what you're into.
I was gonna say that that might say something about
Yeah, but it sounds more like a comedy, and the other one, like it reminded me a lot of the one with the How to Raise Your Elf Bride or something like that.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Like the premise sounded too similar to the other one, so it was.
So
Yeah, it doesn't tell me much.
so what you're saying? So what you're saying is that one sounded very vanilla, whereas this one sounds spicy. To use Bio's terminology, spicy.
So anyway, I'm not really sure where the anime is going to go because, as far as I know, this one has only one novel out in Japan.
It
But-
does have a manga.
So-
It's a manga series.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
as far as I understand it, now this is the thing. So the manga came first, and I believe Yen has already licensed the manga. In fact, they might have already released a volume of it.
Yeah, there's one on Bookwalker. Yeah.
Yeah. And this, when I did a Google Translate of the Japanese for this title, it made it sound like this was perhaps a retelling of the manga, but in light novel form. Because it said something along the lines of like relive the tale or something like that. Like it implied heavily. And again, you know, you can only trust Google Translate as far as you could kick it down the road. But
every single Japanese person I've ever met have said that Google Translate is shit. So
oh, I agree.
It doesn't take a
I
genius
tend to
to
believe
know
them.
that, though.
Yeah, I think that maybe Google translated the Lebuya as maybe a second take, but it meant to be interspecies reviewers. So maybe it kind of translated reviewers as something else.
I don't like. Again, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
if this is
this-
a spin-off or a retelling or what.
Yeah, so for me, this one
You have
has...
to know at least basic Japanese to make sense of Google Translation.
So for me, this one has kind of the same issue as like Bloom Into You, where this one, I don't know, you know, Bloom Into You at least sounds like it's focusing on a side character. This one sounds at least like it might be focusing on the major characters from the manga. We'll see. But if it is just a retelling, I guess then I would have to decide which version is, you know, the better one to go with. Obviously, there's the original, and then there's this that might be a little more detailed, but it also, you know, it might waste your time a little bit more because it's in novel form, and the original, you know, might have been like the concise story. I don't know.
I guess
we'll-
it depends
we'll see.
how many pretty
And it's more
pictures.
illustrated as a manga. So for Fawn, that might be interesting for some people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, obviously, title's a little bit racier than
Yeah.
you know, but I mean, it's definitely not R18, but yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
guess
a little bit more
with-
ishy.
With these more ecchi titles, I guess I want to check them out too to see like where they rank with like a JK Haru. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of curious, you know, how far that one was and how far these ones go. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure this will not go as far as JK
No.
Haru.
No.
Okay, and then another title that Yen On has licensed. It is called "The Penetrated Battlefield Should Disappear There." Anybody want to? Uchi.
Yeah. Uchi nukareta senjo wa soko de kieteiro.
Okay. This one, fantasy series. It is ongoing. There are currently it says there are 9 volumes currently in Japan. For 100 years, East and West have waged a ferocious war with everything from tanks to witchcraft. On this savage battlefield, one young soldier from the East uses a bullet he's never seen before and kills an enemy officer with it. After this, nothing will ever be the same for the boy, Rain Lance. Fate soon leads him to the mysterious bullet's maker, a young girl named Air, who warns him that anyone struck by the daemon's bullet he fired will disappear from the world as if they had never existed. Armed with the staggering knowledge that every shot he takes will change history and destiny, where will Rain aim next?
So first of all, Small Collection is 2 volumes out in Japan.
Oh,
And second one, this is the first one that actually interests me. That sounds really interesting, and depending on the author and where he goes with it, it might be really good, or he might not make much of the premise. But I haven't seen anything else by that author. She seems to be new.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know, I like the idea of like this guy having this incredibly dangerous power. Like it could be like, you know, a really cool idea they could go with it is that he becomes like consumed by power and it evidently destroys him in the end. Like that would be a cool twist.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
it's definitely it definitely I like the
note.
fact that it's kind of amping up that whole war aspect, right? Like now you're not just taking a life, you're actually erasing it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and
that's
it
And
sounds.
you're also changing history.
Yeah,
a
it
bit.
sounds
Well,
like
yeah.
he changes the past because, like, if say he even shot the person who invented the gun, then I guess everything would be wiped out. I don't know, but if he shoots somebody who made like some big stride in the world, that's going to be gone pretty much, right?
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
I actually like the fact that it seemed like right off the jump that this guy has a power, but it's incredibly dangerous. Like, isn't like oh, I've got cheat abilities and I can blow stuff up. Like, it's like no, your ability is like incredibly dangerous and don't use it. You can't control it. It's a power that you can't
but
control.
it's not like the guy has a power. He just found like bullet to put inside his gun, and there's a manufacturer that makes those bullets, so it's not really a power.
I feel like things are going to go very wrong.
I know, but
though.
he has something that has power. He has something that's incredibly dangerous.
oh yeah. Like
I feel like things could go very wrong. Like one misfire, and yeah, you've wiped out history you didn't want wiped.
yeah. Yeah, well that's it.
It doesn't even have to be a misfire. He doesn't obviously know the whole history of every person
Oh yeah,
he's going to shoot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, I mean, it kind of plays into that whole like the butterfly effect, right? Like just by eliminating one person, what do you change? All this, how much do you change, right?
yeah. Like
Well, it
even-
also changes the future as well, because what if that person, that he killed was actually going to be like, after the war was over, going to be like a leading scientist, or was going to cure cancer or cure something,
Well,
or do
okay,
something,
or
That's
even-
big in the world.
or even-
that applies to every novel out there, because every bullet can kill the future of some person.
But what if that guy's kids
yes,
would have
exactly.
done those things, and now the
so
kids
if they're
disappear,
not born, yeah,
right?
yeah.
When the kids are
that's true.
not yet born, then okay.
Well, no, but like we're just saying that
No, but
we're just saying like
if
let's
they're born, like
let's say for instance, just humor me for a minute. Let's say you've got an old grizzled general. He's like in his 60s or 70s. He's a grandpa. Gets shot by this gun. His kids could be like the head of the military,
Oh,
and all of
yeah.
a sudden now his kid is gone, and who knows what that changes? Like there's a huge ripple effect that's potential if you completely wipe away
Yeah,
an
and
existence.
That's why I said it's probably very hard to write that.
I would think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not sure if the author is up to it, because it's a new author. We haven't read anything from him.
Yeah.
So could be very good, could be very bad, depending on the author.
The premise says that it's as if he's never existed, but how exactly is he writing it? Like, is suddenly everything poof, like he never existed, people don't know him, or he just vanished and that's it?
No, I think it's
Like, has anyone here watched like Steins Gate?
Yeah.
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 It could be like that. Like, if you remember Steins Gate, like a lot of things changed because of the small things they did.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's that whole butterfly effect, right? Like you think something is small.
Probably the main character will remember, will be the only one to remember, because otherwise, every time he shot someone, he would be like, "Did I shoot someone?"
Yeah.
And that would be a bit boring.
Yeah, no. I think you're right. I think it'll be one of those where he's the only person who remembers what the world was like. The question then becomes like, if he does something and the world changes like radically, is he going to try and change it back? And how does he do that? And like, I could see this becoming like a really
That's
crazy.
hardly possible with this gun, because once someone is dead.
But think about it this way, and this is where I'm like, okay, obviously I have no idea how this guy's writing this thing or not, but to me, I'm like, can you imagine like it opens where he shoots one dude and all of a sudden the world goes topsy-turvy and is like a hellscape, and then he has to figure out, who do I kill with this gun now to fix this from happening? You know what I mean? Like like trying to decide like who do I erase from history so that the world, even if it doesn't go back to the way that it quote unquote was, it gets better.
Oh.
Like I could see this.
That's easy. It's
Basically,
super
erase
easy answer.
yourself.
Himself. If he erased himself, he didn't erase anyone else.
You know what?
before.
That's what the
So
ending's going to be.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
going to become
That's
like
the
consumed with the
twist
spear,
ending
and he's
in the
like,
last
"Fuck
book.
it, bang!" He's
Either-
going like, "I'm off himself."
Yeah, you either erase
But,
It's going to be the
yourself.
ending
basically-
volume. It's going to be amazing.
Basically, every shot he takes is a risk. So if he faces an enemy and he shoots him, and every time the risk is that instead of the person he shot because he was never there, there's someone who's actually capable of killing him instead, taking the place.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, yeah, I mean, you could go all sorts of crazy places with this.
Like he could even be like in an ambush or something, and he shoots like the guy that is like attacking him, and then all of a sudden, oh, he's got a new pursuer because in a different history, somebody else was going after. Like he
And
could
then,
just have,
then there's one who didn't sneeze.
yeah, he could just have endless waves though.
Yeah, it could like you said. I think Mirage, you're right. Like it's the premise is really cool.
Mhm.
It's just what will the author do with it? That's going to be the big question mark in that whole thing. Then another series that Yen on licensed. They've got two more. First up, we will do Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elena, Majo no Tabi Tabi. This is a series. In a certain place, there was a traveling witch. Her name was Elena. Being a traveler, she came across many people and countries while continuing her long, long journey. A country that only accepted magicians, a muscle-loving giant, a youth at death's door awaiting his lover's return, a princess left alone in the ruined country, and the story of the witch herself up until now and from now on. While meeting particularly peculiar people and experiencing others' moments of beauty, even now, the witch keeps spinning the tale of meeting and parting evermore. Please don't mind it. After all, I'm a traveler. I must hurry ahead. The witch. Yes, me. So this one, couple things. It sounds, everybody, myself included, we were kind of like, hey, it's Kino's Journey, but with a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's magical Kino's Journey. Well, I
And
mean, not that
hopefully
it,
less depressing.
well, not that a talking motorcycle isn't somewhat magical, but still, it's more magical. And sorry, did you say, Mirage, it's less depressing?
I hope so. Yeah.
I think so. Like a couple of people online said that this is it's a fairly lighthearted sort of the not quite killing slimes for 300 years type of feel to it, but you know, that kind of a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more like happy-go-lucky. Although, I mean, you know, a young person dying waiting for their lover's return doesn't exactly sound happy-go-lucky, but
Yeah, but in Kino's Journey, you have something like that in every episode.
yeah, well, this is it. Yeah, so I think it's I am looking forward to this one. Actually, this is a title that I've wanted to be licensed for some time. Because I love the cover artwork on it. I don't know. There's just something about cute witches. I don't know. But I like that kind of. I like the whole setup of it that, you know, she can explore all these sort of countless magical areas and cities and people, and you know what I mean? Like, it just seems to me like it's the kind of story that could really just keep going on, and I'm curious to see how it holds it all together.
It's also one of the series that I'm probably going to pick up.
Yeah. So then we'll move to the big announcement that they made, which, I mean, surprised nobody because, duh, they just licensed the manga like a couple months ago. So they have licensed Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Seishun Buta. This one, so yeah, I mean, the rare and inexplicable puberty syndrome is thought of as a myth. It is a rare disease which only affects teenagers, and its symptoms are so supernatural that hardly anyone recognizes it as a legitimate occurrence. However, high school student Sakota Azusagawa knows from personal experience that it is very much real and happens to be quite prevalent in his school. Mai Sakurajima is a third-year high school student who gained fame in her youth as a child actress, but recently halted her promising career for reasons unknown to the public. With an air of unapproachability, she is well known throughout the school, but none dare interact with her. That is, until Sakota sees her wandering the library in a bunny girl costume. Despite the getup, no one seems to notice her, and after confronting her, he realizes that she is another victim of puberty syndrome. As Sakota tries to help Mai through her predicament, his actions bring him into contact with more girls afflicted with the elusive disease. Now, of course, this one just had a very popular anime that covered the first 5 volumes. 5 volumes. And there's a movie coming out that covers volumes 6 and 7. Although, well, I think it's out in Japan, but it hasn't been released in English yet, I don't think. Is that correct?
Funny story is that they did a release at Anime Expo of the movie, and
oh yeah,
I think like they had like people could like queue up to watch it, and I think like 5,000 or so people queued up for it, and they were screening the movie in a room that had a max capacity of like 300 people.
Oh,
so everyone queued up to watch it, and like barely anyone got to actually watch it.
Ouch. Damn. Okay. So I mean, obviously this one is their big A-list announcement, right? This is the one that I think everybody has been screaming for someone to license ever since the anime came out. I didn't watch the anime because I was one of those people that was hoping it would get licensed.
I watched the anime, and now I'm not interested in the license anymore.
Ouch. Okay.
I mean, I watched it. It was fine. Like, I liked it, but you know, I view it as like discount, like Bakemonogatari and My Romantic Comedy Snafu. So
it probably would have been best if it ended after the first volume, because the chemistry between the two main characters was really good. But after volume 1, the male character got more or less shelved and had only a side character, some scenes, more or less.
Also, she barely wears the bunny girl outfit as well. Like, that's just really disappointing.
She doesn't wear the bunny girl outfit after volume 1 at all, because her kind of puberty syndrome is cured by then, and she's
Spoilers!
Just normal.
Uh-oh.
Spoilers for
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway, what I liked least about this was the whole concept of puberty syndrome, because they made up all kinds of pseudoscientific explanations for all the occurrences. They should have just come out and said it's magic, and that would have been more believable.
I thought puberty syndrome was code. I thought puberty syndrome was code for magic.
Basically it is, but they try to pretend it isn't. They always try to find some scientific quotation mark explanations for why those things happen, and they try to find some scientific ways to cure those symptoms, but it never makes sense.
No science is going to make a girl being cyberbullied have cuts and bruises all over her body.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they're just doing the science
thing. She was so adorable as well.
Funny.
Who would want to bully her?
Yeah, and no kind of science. They always throw in some kinds of physics buzzwords like Laplace demon and others, and it doesn't even make sense in the context of what they're trying to explain.
It's like, oh my god, this girl's getting fucking phantom cuts and everything's levitating.
Yeah,
Has to be
sometimes
gravity.
Most of the time, I don't think the author even understood what Le Class Demon even is.
Oh, by the way, there's like weird chanting in the walls, and also the walls are leaking blood. Has to be gravity. No, wait. The power went out. It's nothing supernatural. It's just physics.
Well, nonetheless, it was heavily requested.
Now her head is rotating 360 degrees, and she's speaking in tongues.
Well, I
probably
enjoyed the
probably an
series
analogy.
less for the pseudoscience
not-
bullshit and more for the character chemistry and like the dialogue scenes were engaging.
That's the good part about it, yes. But it's mostly
I wanted her to wear more Bunny Girl outfits. I was so disappointed.
All right, well,
Yeah, seems like character in that show are taking too much drugs.
that's Jean-Luc's thing. It's not gravity. It's not science. It's called ecstasy, idiots.
Even how could I afford ecstasy? They're high schoolers. Like, how cheap is ecstasy in Japan?
It's a lot cheaper, I think, than what you... Anyway, never mind. We're moving on.
Fuck yeah.
All right, so...
Remember, kids, never take drugs. That's stealing. Always pay up front.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, so...
There's your public service announcement.
The Light Novel Podcast does not endorse any of the views expressed on this... No, anyway.
It doesn't matter. You're going to apologize for me anyway on the comment section. I've read...
You know what? I don't think I've ever apologized for you in the comments section.
maybe you should.
I just censor out the really offensive parts. I mean, anyway.
How dare you?
All right, so J Novel Club. J Novel Club. Okay. So J Novel Club had a number of announcements. First off, we'll start with like a couple of weird ones. First off, Beatless. This I was just kind of like, I don't understand this.
It's discount Chobits. That's all you need to know.
Discount Chobits. That's awesome.
And Chobits wasn't that amazing to begin with, so...
Yeah, so the story on this one, with great advancements in technology, mankind has created, what the hell? Is that HLES? How do you even pronounce this? Heelys?
I have no idea.
No idea, okay. They're human-like robots that act as public and personal servants for society. Unlike many others, the kind-hearted high school student Arato Endo treats his humanoid robot as an equal, but his financial situation keeps him from owning one. However, his normal life is shattered when an ordinary run to the local grocery store goes horribly awry. Man, everything goes wrong going to either the corner store or the grocery store. Seriously. It's almost as predictable as
No truck this time.
I know, it's almost as predictable as Truck-kun. Viciously assaulted by a hacked humanoid robot, Arato is on the verge of death, but luckily he is saved by an abnormal humanoid robot carrying a weaponized coffin. Her name is Lacia, one of 5 highly advanced robots that recently escaped the clutches of the mysterious... Oh my god, is that Meme Frame Corporation? No, it's MEME Frame Corporation.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
Meme
god,
Frame.
that's so funny. Faced with a hacked car threatening to run them over, Lacia offers Arato a deal. In exchange for saving his life, he must register as her new owner, thus taking full responsibility for her actions. You'll take responsibility, right? With little choice, he decides to trust this artificial girl and allows her to live in his home. Though Lacia begins to adapt to her new peaceful lifestyle, she warns the entranced Arato of one thing. She does not have a soul. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, you will. By the end of this book, you'll have a soul. Okay, so this is...
Spoiler?
I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't read it or watched anything.
Yeah, my biggest problem is he's treating a slave like an equal. That's his first mistake.
Wow. Let's not
Okay.
even. No, we're not going there. No.
So,
Nope.
has anybody seen this the anime?
No.
Yes, actually.
Oh, there you go. Kyle has.
Yeah.
So is it more
Actu-
action or is it slice of life? Or
Okay,
mixture of
so I gave this series crap before. I watched the first couple. Well, the main character is a total putz. It makes itself out to be discount Chobits, and as you start going along, you realize that that's all very intentional, and that practically everything you've seen thus far is a lie. So it's not Chobits at all. It's actually a whole lot closer to Ex Machina. So it's really kind of just odd when you
Ex
take a look at
Machina, do you mean Appleseed?
what?
Appleseed Ex Machina or
No. The American
okay.
movie Ex Machina.
Okay, I don't know that.
Oh, well, yeah. And
IMDb.
yeah. And so it's I mean, once you go through it and you look at it through a completely, different light, it's like you think you're looking at a romance and you're actually looking at something closer to a horror. It's
Really?
actually really, interesting.
Oh.
It's just that you have to just power through the absolute tard that the main character is.
Yeah, people were saying don't just judge this one based on how the anime was too,
Yeah,
which
that is something I wouldn't have expected.
but they said it's very thought provoking. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try it out. I like sci-fi. I'm not sure. I'm not crazy about the model, but the sale model. But I like sci-fi, so I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, like this one was very much like this one is considered more of a sci-fi novel as opposed to a light novel, though. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe the novels are about. I want to say they're 600 pages each. They're big. Yeah.
That's what I heard. Like Sean Gaffney said to me online, he's like, "This is a good introduction to get Horizon to the middle of nowhere because each volume of these is like a Bible and a half or something." So,
So it was imprinted on new type, so that's not the typical light novel imprint.
yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, this one, as far as I understand it, it's more considered science fiction, and it's kind of weird. So, they're partnering with Tokyo Otaku Mode, which is a online retailer of anime and associated merchandise. Now, Tokyo Otaku Mode several years ago did this series in English, and they had it on their website for free. And then I guess it got archived. I don't even know the whole story. In any case, J Novel Club is basically creating this thing. They're translating it and everything else themselves. Tokyo Otaku Mode is going to release it in installments for free on their website, and then what did Sam said it was going to be like almost like 9 months, almost a year for them to get through it the way that they had sort of planned out the releases or something?
Yeah. So Tokyo Otaku Mode, I think you're gonna have to be a subscriber to them, and it's like I don't know what the fee is exactly, but yeah, you have to be a monthly subscriber to like the Tom rewards. So you have to be a subscriber. So it's not free, but it's up there for people that are subscribers.
Okay. And then once Tokyo Otaku Mode has released it in its entirety, then J Novel Club is going to put the completed volumes out for sale as ebooks. That's sort of what I got. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
different distribution networks. And
How many
Sam was
volumes?
saying if you
So far 3.
Yeah, it's only they're doing it as 3, right? Because I know at one point it was released as 2, and then it was split. I think they reissued it and split it into 3, and I think that's what they're basing their release on, is the 3-volume version. I don't know. It's all very weird and convoluted.
I thought it was the 2, but I could be wrong.
There was one volume that came out in 2012.
Mm.
And then there was a 2-novel set that came out in 18.
Yeah.
So it's basically 2 volumes.
I thought it was 2. So what?
And I think the 2 that came out in 2018 were reissue.
Okay. So what I heard was if Sam sells them, through their website, through JNC, he thinks they'd probably have to do like a get 2 for 3 credits since they are bigger novels.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing that they're doing with that. So there was actually 2 light novels that J-Novel announced that they're having sort of these odd deals with. We don't actually have it here because it's not technically a new license, but that's the Combat Baker and Automaton Waitress. And that's a whole weird kind of thing. So just really briefly, Bookwalker, which is a Japanese company that has an English arm, they licensed light novels to release them as exclusives on their platform. The Rio's work is Never Done and the Combat Baker and Automaton Waitress. So now what's happened is Bookwalker will continue to release the new volumes of the Combat Baker and Automaton Waitress as exclusives, and then J-Novel Club is going to basically trail behind them by a significant amount of time and start releasing volumes to the other distribution networks like Amazon, Kobo, and everything else. It's kind of a weird, it's strange because I know that Bookwalker, when they first announced that they were going to do these exclusive deals, they had made it sound like once the series was complete, they were basically going to hand the English translated volumes over to the Japanese publisher that owned the series and let them do whatever they wanted with it. So it sounds like now maybe they've changed that model. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So I do know this series has been sub-licensed, and they said one of the reasons why they were able to do it, I think it's Hobby Japan, does this series. And because Sam had a relationship with them, it was a little easier. So Hobby Japan, they worked with J-Novel and Bookwalker to, do this deal. But, the other work that they have, Bookwalker, the Rio's work is Never Done. That one is probably unlikely to ever, come to JNC unless they worked another sub-license deal. It was just really convenient and easy for this one. But yeah, it's definitely odd.
Yeah, it is. It's it was just strange. And I was like, and I just kind of I read the first volume of that series. I thought it was decent, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like, I just kind of thought to myself, I'm like, why is Sam doing that when potentially he could go after a series that has 0 English anyway, whatever. I'm not involved in that planning, so I have no idea. Next up, we'll move ahead. Because she was a woman, she was banished from the party, so she formed the strongest tag team with the, holy crap, this title is long, with the legendary witch. Wow. Ona dakara to party wa tsui o sareta no de densetsu no majo to saiki o toga wo.
That was good.
Oh, thanks.
I think it's a bit unfair, banning her from the party just because she's a woman. It sounds like she's like a magician or something, like a magic user, so she'd probably be very useful.
Well,
yeah,
this
it sounds
one,
like
I think it's
she's
a bit unfair.
actually, I think what this one is that the one who's exiled is actually like a knight.
Yeah.
And then she teams up. Here, so your
Well, she's trained in combat. Why would you get rid of her? She's another source of damage and tanking. That seems a bit unfair.
And I think she is powerful, but they just banned her because she's a woman.
Why did you kick her? She's useful.
Because she refused to play the
okay.
healer.
You're supposed to keep the useful party members, not kick them.
Yeah, but he's a jerk, so
What are you
Well, let
talking
me
about?
see. Okay,
Girls
hold
can
on.
only play
Well,
healers.
let him read the summary.
It says you're exiled. Okay, so she is a sorcerer. I take that back. So you're exiled from this party. You're a woman, after all. What? Women really should be recovery magic healers, after all. A sorcerer's a bit... What? Putting in enough effort to spill blood, the female adventurer named Tanya, who had finally reached the highest class of sorcery, was one day abruptly told, "Because you're a woman," as the reason to be kicked from her adventurer party. While barraging the now desperate wasteland with super advanced magic, the legendary Grand Witch, Laplace, appeared and said, "You, shall we form a party?" Seriously? However, if you're a sorcerer, our characters will overlap, so be a magic swordsman. The level will be maxed from the beginning. Seriously? While pulverizing a last boss class dragon? The Grand Witch, legendary, and magic swordswoman max level slapstick light Yuri adventure starts here. Huh? The adventurer school's examination? Since I was a woman, points were deducted across the board. Fumes.
So
This entire world
that
sounds like
This
shit.
is-
So that last part,
This society sounds like really sexist for no apparent reason.
that last part,
Much like
that's
Japan.
supposed to be that's supposed to be a reference to the Tokyo Medical University. Did you
Yeah.
hear about that last year? Like
Yes.
it was like they were altering, I think, exam scores for women because they thought, it's a waste of time or whatever they were thinking that women they assumed women would get married and leave the profession, so they didn't want to either waste time or I don't know what exactly was their rationale. But obviously, sexist
Well, it depends. Like maybe it depends. Like maybe she's got a house husband, and if she has kids and stuff, the husband will be looking after them at home while she's at work. Like it could be that situation.
So you can't assume. Yeah.
Well,
but that
Anyways,
is that is what this is a reaction to.
yeah.
Is that real life circumstance? Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that this got picked up because there's only one volume out and it came out in February, so it's brand new.
Well, but it's
Yeah,
an
this-
overlap book, right? And I mean, so
So maybe Overlap just went to JNC and said, "Here we have this one, you can have it."
Well, I think, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if part of it was a deal.
Yeah, I think there
I
was some
also-
interest. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think this is also, I mean, you're seeing now J Novel Club is starting to push a bit more into like Yuri titles, right? So I think this is, again, like Sam picking up a series that potentially could be a Yuri title. Well, I mean, it is a Yuri title. It's a soft Yuri. It even says in the description. But yeah, it's a Yuri title, and it's a series that, it's brand new, which means, again, you're not fighting fan translators. He's probably not having to go into a bidding war with, Yen On or anybody else to get the license for it.
Brand new author.
Yeah, well, again, right? Like, I think we're seeing more and more. We're seeing this kind of stuff with English light novel, like companies that publish light novels in English, is them going after these newer series because, it's again, right? They're probably cheaper because they don't have a proven track record of sales. So it's not like it's not like a publisher in Japan can turn around and go, well, we want a super high price because this one sells 50,000 copies every single time a new volume comes out. They can't prove that, so it's probably cheaper for them to license it.
On the other hand, it probably won't sell 50,000 copies.
Well, but I mean, nonetheless, I'm just saying, like,
It'll probably sell like maybe a couple of hundred.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, there are light novels in Japan that sell 50,000 copies in their first week, but they're mostly established series, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, there's no track record for this, right? It hasn't shown up in Kono Light Novel Gasugoi. It doesn't have a big long sales track record. It's not, there's not 5 volumes, so it's likely to be turned into an anime soon. There's all that kind of stuff that obviously ups the price of a license of a title. So I think that's why we're seeing more companies, like even Yen On, right? Like they licensed 1 or 2 volume, like series that only had 1 or 2 volumes.
This one I think
And
was
just 350 viewers is
this one had interest internally, I think, from JNC. But yeah, it's brand new, so we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah.
I heard I don't know if it was this one. I heard a rumor it was on like a 6-month pace schedule. I don't know if that was on the Japan side. I don't know. Again, don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard. So it might take a little bit for the second volume to come out, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, I think the other thing for J Novel too is that if he's got a couple titles that are dribbling out slower, it's not like he's going to catch up with them and then have a drought of titles, right? So, like, I kind of think that's the one thing with, like, I mean, as much as everybody loves that J Novel Club puts out stuff quickly, I think that's the one risk with that business model is that you're constantly catching up to Japan and then you don't know what's going to happen next or when a new title is going to come out or, you know what I mean? So, okay, so
But moving on from the publishing, one question I have about the summary is why, when you change your class from sorcerer to magic swordsman, is your level maxed out from the beginning? That doesn't make any sense.
All right, simple. There's no magic. It's gravity.
Okay.
It's physics, don't worry.
it's
It's too deep for you.
It's physics, okay.
Oh boy. Okay. Next up from J Novel Club, we have Demon Lord Retry, Mao Sama Retry. This one's actually got an anime that's showing right now, right? Like, I think the first episode is out.
Just finished airing.
No, come on, Demon Lord Retry. I thought it just started.
Yeah, we just had the first episode last week. Maybe next one's today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the show with the discount rem.
The discount. Oh, God, terrible. I'm glad she's a fictional character because I would feel so bad for her otherwise. Ono Akira, a working adult that can be found anywhere. What? Who took this translation? Anyway, was transported to a different world while logged into a character known as the Demon Lord in a game he manages. There, he meets a child with a disabled leg, and they begin to travel together. But there's no way that others will leave a Demon Lord with such overwhelming strength alone. While being targeted by countries and saints that are trying to subdue the Demon Lord, they cause turmoil wherever they go. Demon Lord on the outside, normal person on the inside, a misunderstanding type fantasy. So
Yeah, so the summary was taken from LNDB?
yeah, that would be why. It was probably a bad Google translation. So, I mean, okay, it's an isekai and it's a guy who gets sucked into a game world similar to the game that he plays, and he gets sucked into the game as his game character who happens to be an OP Demon Lord. There you go. You need to know nothing else. I don't know. Did anybody?
So 4 volumes out in Japan at the moment.
Yeah. Yep. Did anybody watch the first episode?
Nope.
Yeah, I watched the first episode and read most of the manga. It's first of all, it's not a game world. It's a more fantasy, but he does have his game character admin powers, so that kind of like just kind of twerks with the world around him quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's mostly just him trying to maybe I don't think he really tries to get home, but just tries to, kind of live a peaceful life. He goes on tries to find a town he could stay in. He will build stuff around him to make himself more comfortable.
It sounds like Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. Except that he's a demon lord, so everybody comes to try and kill him.
Yeah, I guess in some regards.
I was more reminded of If It's For My Daughter from the description, but I'm not sure if it also goes for the pedo route.
Yeah, I don't really see that at all.
I hope so.
Yeah, he just finds a kid who's hurt, picks her up, and takes care of her. Nothing really lascivious there. And but
Well, that's how like Daughter started out anyway. Like it didn't start out that way, and then it became that way. It's kind of like it's kind of like whatever.
yeah,
Is Discount Rem? Is that the girl he picks up? Or
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
okay. Well, I'm just curious because I don't know the cover of the manga has this girl with a red eye, and then the cover of the light novel has a girl with a green eye, and she looks a little older. I don't know if it's just different artistic interpretations or what's going on.
Maybe he picks up more lollies on the way.
Yeah, there are a few.
He's like, fuck it. He's like, fuck it. My adopted daughter needs a sister. Here you go.
Yeah, there's a few people that he runs across. And okay, that's. Yeah, I don't know what image you're looking at.
Does he just like fucking adopt a family? Like, oh, you'll be the mother, I'll be the father, you can be the uncle, you can be the older brother.
Who's the chick with the
I get
green
everything
eye?
I need.
No, I don't.
Well,
see her.
well, the thing is, he's a character, or he was a game admin, so he's got all these kinds of tools available to him. So he's got like assistant AI that he can summon into the world. So he's got this.
Oh, dude, he looks
of,
very suave. He looks suave as fuck.
Yeah, I just posted the image.
Oh, dude, I love that character design. He looks suave as all fuck. He looks like, yeah,
So
I'm doing this.
You can see both the blondish female characters. I don't know if that's supposed to be the same character, too.
I don't
maybe.
I don't think so, but I don't.
Yeah,
know.
on the top one, she looks more like tomboyish.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly like the top picture. Like, he just looks suave as fuck.
The two blonde girls, they don't have the same eye color.
Well, that's what we're saying. So I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They licensed it. It's coming out. Go read it if it sounds cool to you. Moving on. They licensed because it's they licensed a series called Holy Knight's Dark Road. Now this I don't think is the official English title yet.
No, that's something I translated.
Yeah, because that was the one they said they didn't have an official approved by Japan yet. So they just announced it. Senaru Kishi no Onkokudo. This one is a fantasy series. A boy named. Now, would you guys say that's Sane or Sane?
Sane.
Sane? It's S.
I would say
Cyan?
sane.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When I see names in light novels, I'm never sure should I pronounce it with the Japanese pronunciation or with the more like what we would probably do in English.
It's difficult, especially when they're Western-oriented series like this medieval kind of things. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say sane because later on they spell it S-E-I-N. So
let me just. Look it up.
I'll just continue on. Whatever, it's fine. A boy named Sane, who for certain reasons left his hometown to become a dark knight, met the goddess who controls the world and was chosen as her holy knight. Going to a school in another country with his follower servant Maria, because he has no aptitude other than light magic and cannot use dark magic, Sane is treated as a pervert who wears the dark magic remodeling uniform. He sympathizes with a girl named Alicia who floated in class because she can only use fire magic. It might have been that she was bullied in class, though she was born to a family of light. And together they begin an adventure to find the Saint Sword that sleeps deep in the labyrinth. However, in the labyrinth is waiting a trial beyond their imagination. I love when
that's the summary. I did the translation myself from Hobby Japan's homepage.
Okay.
And for this floated, I didn't find any other translation for that kanji. but from the context, I think it means bullied.
Yeah, it does sound bullied. Yeah. Yeah.
I like the idea of like this guy. He's trying to become like this edgelord knight, but can't because he's a good boy.
Yeah, it's yeah,
I want to become a dark knight, but no, I can't. I have to be a good boy. I'm a light knight.
It really depends on what's the definition of Dark Knight and Holy Knight. Like, Dark Knight might only be like a kind of executioner or something like
Batman.
Oh, that would sound awesome. Just like this dude in dark black armor just executing people. Like, Jesus, I'd read that novel.
Yeah, but then again, it depends which Batman. Because the next one's gonna glow in the sun.
Stop. Okay. So this one, pure fantasy type title, and yeah, it's a little. I agree. It's not knowing what exactly they mean by, holy night, dark night. I mean, I don't know. Another one that J Novel Club picked up called Other Side Picnic, Urasekai Picnic. The story is set in the modern world, but there exists doors that can take people to the, quote, other side, where strange urban legends and internet stories prove to be true. College student Sorao Kamikoshi finds herself exploring one of these doors and almost dies on the other side when she is rescued by another girl named Toriko Nishina. Toriko is a mysterious girl, but very skilled with a gun, and she seems to be searching for someone else on the other side. Together, both girls start to explore these doors to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Anyway.
That's one of the other titles I think are interesting. Probably the one that interests me most from the summary.
Yeah, no, this one has how many volumes? Like, it has a couple volumes, does it not?
At the moment, it has 3.
Yeah, because this is the same.
Last one came out in November.
Yeah, because this is the same author as Side by Side Dreamers that J Novel Club just published.
Yeah.
And that one was a one-shot. This one is an actual series. So that's sort of the...
I'm just looking up the author, and she has 3 other series, and they all seem to be one-shots.
So yeah, so this one is this one is a multi-series.
So not series, really.
Well, okay, but I mean, it's got a couple of volumes out, so it's more of an ongoing series. I don't know if it's done or not. I think it's still ongoing. You said the last one.
Yeah, but the concept of a door to a world where urban legends are true, that could be fun.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the concept is good.
I agree.
Yeah, I guess I wonder, like, it sounds like there's a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of horror. Like, I don't know, how far it's going to go down either of those. Obviously, it's the urban legend aspect, and some of those urban legends that you see on the internet, they're kind of horror-oriented. But yeah, I'm curious, very curious to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's also, I think they said a little bit, this is another one of those sort of Yuri type novels that they're picking up. So again, J Novel Club seems to be pushing a little forward into the whole Yuri side of things, trying that out, because I know a lot of people have been asking for it. So I guess that's what they're up to. Next.
So where do you get the Yuri?
What's that?
Where did you get the Yuri?
Oh, because when they announced the title, they said that it was there was some Yuri aspect to it. They said that during the panel. I don't think that's actually in any of the information about the series. It's just, like I said, they mentioned during the panel that it was. And because, I guess, too, because the author did Side by Side Dreamers, which is a Yuri title, has a Yuri aspect to it as well. So, then the next one that they licensed is called There Was No Secret Evil Fighting Organization, So I Made One Myself. This one, the protagonist wakes up to a superpower one day out of the blue, but there's no organization targeting the protagonist's superpower. The prettiest girl in his grade doesn't turn out to be What? Doesn't turn out to be a
Psychica?
What is that?
Well, maybe
probably
someone with psychic power.
Like the protagonist himself. Nor door opens to another world, and he doesn't get summoned. There is no secret history in the protagonist's past. There is no reveal explaining the protagonist's sudden attainment of his superpower. So normal, such overwhelming normalcy. He graduates from school and gets a job without anything happening. He lives as a mediocre working adult, having enough power to fight against all of humanity, yet not seeing anything happen finally makes him snap. Fine, be that way. If this is the way it's going to be, then I'll make it. I'll make the secret supernatural organization myself. Welcome to my man-made extraordinariness.
Actually, this series sounds a lot interesting because if you see a lot of these like supernatural series where they have powers, it's like, oh, there's a secret underbelly of society that you don't know about. You know, there's all these, secrets within secrets. There's other people around. Not even the government knows. Maybe the government does know. Oh, you're being hunted or being discriminated against. It's just like, nah, I just have superpowers and no one is none the wiser. Like, no one knows.
Yeah. And so I'm sick and tired of having nothing to do with my powers, so I'm going to become an evil genius.
You know what's funny? It's almost like, how in the series you'd hear like the origin story of these like organizations that, the main character fights or joins or knows about? It's almost like the origin story of that. Like, this is like, you're going to find the origin story of this evil organization with world domination.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's going to be super deep. And, no, it isn't. It's just some guy who's bored. It's, it's funny. It's almost like, imagine having superpowers, but none of the cool shit that comes with it.
Well, so it's obviously a comedy series.
Yeah. And just like the other one, it's the single volume that came first out in February from an author we haven't seen anything before. So another unwritten sheet.
Actually, what is this dude's superpowers? Like, what is his actual abilities?
No idea. We don't hardly anything about it because it's brand new. So,
I might be willing to pick this up because it might be funny.
Well, yeah, I think so. I'm going to check it out.
It's almost like playing on that cliche of like, the person who thinks they're normal actually isn't normal, and they're actually involved in like this, this hidden world that no one else knows about, or this world of supernatural stuff. It's just like, nah, this is just a actual regular dude who, just by some luck of the dice, got superpowers, and nothing bad has happened. In fact, it's just got powers. Makes his life actually easier because there's no secret organization hunting him down. There's no secret fucking shadow war in the distance. There is no like, we've got to go find Atlantis, boys. There's just like, I got superpowers.
Yeah, it could be really cute. It'll be interesting to see. And then the last one that J Novel Club licensed, and the last series that we have to talk about, is Altina the Sword Princess. Haken no Koiki Altina. Interestingly enough, this is actually written by the same author as How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. It's
oh boy,
yeah,
And
it's
actually making me nervous.
It's 14 volumes long.
Nervous German sounds in the background.
It's 14 volumes long. I think it might still be ongoing. It's a fantasy series. Regis, an incapable soldier who is bad at both sword and archery that only reads books. He meets a girl at the remote region where he was transferred to. Red hair, crimson eyes, Princess Altina, who wields the supreme ruler's sword. She was appointed to become the commander of the army of the remote region despite being 14 years old, simply for being the illegitimate child of the emperor. However, she is holding on to her big dream without being depressed in the environment she is in. I trust you. Regis, who was sought from her as a tactician, stands up to the obstacles together with her. The military fantasy interweaved by the bibliographic boy and the princess with the supreme ruler's sword.
Yeah.
So,
kind of remind me of Alderamin of the Sky.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Alderemy. But the redhead, the tactician, a war.
And
yeah.
actually, I would have preferred Alderamin.
Well, and that one's over too, so at least we'd know how many volumes we were in for.
Yeah, this one, the last one came out in September 18. So it's still listed as ongoing on LNDB.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's not impossible because, I mean, if the author's writing multiple series at once, right, that you get one series that sort of has more time between it. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, it has about 10 months between volumes, if I look to the published volumes before that.
So we'd be due for a new one soon then. Okay, well, yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. Has anybody seen anything about this or know anything about this one?
Nope.
I've heard the name before, but I've never...
Yeah, I've seen the covers, heard the name. I know it was wanted, but I haven't looked into it too much.
As far as I know, there's no anime.
The only thing I saw from some comment where that it resembled Legend of the Galactic Hero and Romance of the Three Kingdom for the military and tactical aspect.
Oh, don't get me started on Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, please don't.
It's just what I...
You mean Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
It's just what I read. It's other people's comment.
Yeah, if it's tactics on the level of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, then I don't even want to start reading it.
But if you're an elitist, it'll be the best book.
I think it was only a comparison based on the military aspect of the book.
All right, so...
I think I'll wait for the Alderamin license.
Well,
Still waiting.
You might be waiting for a while, I'm afraid to say, but...
Why? Because it's not that unlikely to get a license. It's finished, it had an anime, it was pretty well received, I think.
Yeah, but the anime was a couple of years ago.
I just feel like I've been waiting for a while. I definitely still want it. But yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like any series that I put on my bingo board, it's like a curse. It will not get license.
You were cursed with that. Yeah, exactly. All right. So that is all that was announced at Anime Expo. So yeah, some interesting things going on out of there. A couple of interesting sounding titles. So our next episode, we are going to be talking about The Faraway Paladin, a J-novel.
Oh, hell yeah. Something to look forward
Have you
to.
decided how many volumes?
Just the first two.
First two, okay.
Yeah, we're going to keep it easy.
Yeah, because volume 3 is split up into two parts for some reason. Mm-hmm. So we could do volume 3 and volume 4, and I think volume 5, whenever the hell it comes out.
Yeah, that would be major spoiler.
Yeah, no, we'll just do the first two.
Oh no, I think he means the future cast. 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah. So we're just going to do the first two volumes because the first volume and second volume have quite a bit of a difference to them. So I think they're kind of it's a nice sort of counterbalance to talk about that. So that will be our next episode. In the meantime, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me tonight. And for
well, I originally wasn't going to join, but then I heard poor novel, and I was like, okay.
We know the ways to get bio interested. All right. So thank you, listeners, for joining us on this episode. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one when we talk about Faraway Paladin. Till then, bye-bye for now.
Good night.
For show notes and related links, visit lightnovelpodcast.com.